with the predictions for Madden 19. I will have my game Monday night. That's okay, because that's the 6th. Not bad at all. Well, high stakes was fun. I did what I had to do to get my team. Did I know I would pick the Giants? Not at the moment. Had my mind set primarily Jacksonville, Cowboys, just the thought about it, or just the thought of it. Well, after I studied all the teams, I mean, I studied these teams left and right, even with some of the other players through DM chats and stuff like that. They made some quality picks. You know, I think some teams got some quality picks, so we're going to cover that. Right now, people are shocked at my pick. It's a lot of teams that are overall better than the Giants, but I think Giants got some players that other teams just don't have. They just don't have it. You know, there's players on other teams that nobody don't have. The Vikings was a good thought because the Vikings had Kirk Cousins with 92 throwing power, which is the most throwing power he's ever had. But the team was just too old. Seattle, 3 good speedsters on defense in the linebacker department with Shaquille Griffin. And then the Rams, you know, Rams got some holes too. They 2 corners are not my style of play. You know, they both slow, they both smart, but Talib is old. But Peterson, I don't think for this particular league Peterson's gonna even get to 94 speed. So, with all that being said, we'll give our thoughts on these teams right now. Well, start with the NFC East. The Cowboys are in trouble. The Cowboys right now are in trouble because who's going to scare us? There's not one weapon at the receiver position that everybody's scared of right now. Nobody. I don't see the Cowboys winning. He'll get to the playoffs perhaps because he's a smart guy. He's one of the best owners. So eventually, coming out the gates, he won't be ready. But I can see him getting ready. He's going to have to make some trades. He's going to have to hope free agency is good to him. He has a strong offensive line. Strong offensive line in Elliott. So that will be a problem. And he probably will have to play action to get somebody open. I like Hearns in real life, but for the video game, no. He's not a video game player. Terrence Williams went down to 89 speed himself. So he won't be a video game player. The defense is rock solid. They're going to have one of the best pass rushers. Do they match up against the receivers like Alshon Jeffries, Beckham? No. Even Richardson on the Redskins will be hard to deal with. So I do eventually see the NFC title, but not in the first 3. No. The dominant player in this division will come down to the Eagles and the Giants. And based off last year, I mean, it's a new Madden. Things do change. We'll get the Eagles the head, the nod. But I can knock them off at any time. We're going to trade blows. We're going to cause matchup problems. And right now on offense, the Eagles and the Giants and the Redskins do have enough matchup problems on offense for opposing defenses to take down the Cowboys. That's why I think the first season, unless he can control the clock, not fumble the ball, he'll have a hard time. But that defense, he might not give up many points, but this guy, he don't have no defense. Man, people was going up and down the field on him when they needed to. Last game we played was 62-31. He had a chance to stop the Eagles. He couldn't do it. And that's what I'm saying. His defensive side of the ball, to me, is more well-rounded than the offense. That's just not a weapon to scare anyone. So, in the Redskins, I don't think he'll ever win a division title. I just don't see it. His team is better. Just won't be able to keep up. I don't know. My thoughts is that when it's all said and done, Eagles and Giants will be the dominant teams, while the Redskins and Cowboys are chasing. Skins, lots of speed. I mean speed on the bench that's ready to come off. Lots of speed. But the awareness of that team and the degrading or regression of Josh Norman is going to cost the team. They do not have what it takes to stick with Beckham and Alshon Jeffries all game long. So with all that being said, just don't look for the Redskins or the Cowboys to have any division titles. It just won't happen. Okay, moving on to the next. We're going to go with the NFC West. Okay, NFC West, you let the boy get his team. The 49ers will win every single division title every single time. Even with the Rams being the owner, EJ. No, it's actually his name is E. Rumble. E. Rumble being the owner of the Niners. Okay. Now, you figure, okay, he can come in, and you got Titan Brain, the owner of the Seahawks. Okay. The 49ers are going to be deadly by Niner time. And then you're looking at the Cardinals. They're held by Flying 4-2. Flying 4-2. He could be the interesting guy. But I'm giving this all to the Niners. The Niners will win every single division title. Even with a subpar team. I just don't see the Cardinals, the Rams, or the Seahawks competing with Niner time. I don't see it. This man had a freaking under, below, average, buried in the ground, secondary, and was balling. And like I said about the Redskins, he won't be able to keep up with the NFC East. And I'm saying the same thing about the Cardinals in Seattle. They won't be able to keep up with the Niners and the Rams. Rams, if anybody gonna knock off the 49ers, you gotta go with E-Run with the Rams. Not just based on the team, but this guy was a steady man in the playoffs too. Steadily making the playoffs. So look for Niner time to win all the division titles. I can see the Rams making the playoffs. You got that big star-studded D-line. You got Sue. You got Aaron Donald. And then on offense, having Gurley and Goff, Cook. You can see if he had the ball last, he may have a chance to go down and score against the Niners. And that's it. He don't have to have the ball last to have a shot. But even with that being said, the Cardinals and the Seahawks, even with the ball the last 2-3 times, they don't have a shot. They're gone. They might as well just start looking for assistant coaches to take over, because Niner time is serious. All right, with that being said, we're going to move on over to the NFC South. And this one here is going to be a good one. I like, the Falcons. I like the owner. He made Detroit look better than what they were. That was a pretty good thing. Then you look at the Saints. With Matty Lowe, he's going to be competing in that division. You look at the Panthers. Look like Batman. Batman is pretty interesting, but that team along with the Panthers has a lot of inside good numbers. Lots of speed at the receiver position for no-namers. Then you also look at the no-namers on defense. They ready. They have a bunch of no-namers on this team. And when you have that with a lot of speed, and you have Cam Newton and Kuechly as your leaders, oh man, that's not bad at all. Then you got McCaffrey in the backfield, and Olsen, who's another team leader. But you got to expect Carolina to replace him after year 2. You kind of think about that. After year 2, look for them to replace him. So, it's going to be a long season. It's going to be great. Everybody going to have a lot of fun. Now, this Bucks team, the Bucks team is going to be real fun to watch too. And when you talk about the Buccaneers, that's going to be Knight. We're just going to call him, his nickname is Knight. Knight Knoll. Okay, this guy's any good. He should be able to compete. But with that being said, I got that defense of the Panthers, man. This guy ran the Jets last year. Man, this guy was just phenomenal. But then you look at the Lions, make playoff runs, back-to-back seasons. Had a lottery pick and high stakes. And this Falcon team is 5 times better than the Lions team. Matty Lowe got more to work with. So we'll leave it up to them two guys between the Falcons and the Panthers. But if I got to pick, I got to go with the Panthers. Just the way he played lights out defense last year. The good thing about the Lions, if he does get an injury, he has good depth. You got Freeman and Coleman in the backfield with good depth. But actually, you know what? Matty Lowe got the Saints. The Panthers is Batman. So, yeah, look for Matty Lowe to win it. Because the Saints have, to me, they got studs in the secondary. So, sorry about that. Batman is the owner of the Panthers. I got the Saints winning this division most of the time. Year one, he should win the division with the Falcons knocking on the door. The Buccaneers coming in third. Actually, yeah. Saints, Falcons, Panthers, Buccaneers. It should shape out like that in year one. After that, anything goes, but expect the Falcons and the Panthers to dominate the division. And I mean the Falcons and the Saints to dominate the division. And I really dominating, most of the way. Because I think Matt Ryan in the first season gonna have a shot to take the division title over the Saints. But I think I'm gonna put my money on the Saints. He got Drew Brees. He has Lattimore. Davenport got drafted real high. He got a lot to work with. Thomas at wide receiver. And the Panthers, the Saints, really are a well-rounded team. The Falcons do have the pieces to match up. So we're going to see how everything shape up. I just don't see the Buccaneers. I don't see the Panthers unless this owner's any good. If the Panthers owner is any good, he can mold that team to beat the Falcons and the Saints. He can do that. At one point, you might see 3 teams 8-4, and the Buccaneers 4-8. So with that being said, let's look for the Falcons to fall into second place in year one. Saints will be number 1 in year one. After that, we'll just catch up and keep and touch bases on how things are going. On the NFC North, you got the Bears, Lions, Packers, and Vikings. This is going to be a good one. This is what you call the redemption division. This redemption division, and the reason I call it that, the Bears had the Ravens last year. The Vikings had Rich Champion last year. Guys falling short. Okay? And you got Pride who just came in. This guy look like he knows how to ball. He talks like he knows how to ball. So, look for this to be a real, real good dogfight. Now, with Pride just coming in, you normally don't pick guys who just came in. You normally don't do that. But, with that being said, this guy could be a sleeper. So, can he come in and upset somebody? It's possible. Now, a lot of people are high on Bino. But you know what? We'll have to see about that. Because I know Rich Champion and Solomon Kane of the Ravens last year are looking to redeem themselves. So let's say, okay, based on how they play, I mean, the Vikings and the Bears, man, the Lions, this is going to be a tough call. I'm going to have to go with, I got to go with the Bears. I think Rich Champion, he'll play great. He'll be in some playoffs, I feel. But John Jay has the Bears. You got Roquan Smith. He also has a double, good tandem in the backfield. Now, the Packers do have Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he's going to make all the throws. The Vikings have a dominant defense, led by Harrison Smith, Xavier Rhodes, and Trey Wayne. He can hold it down, depending on how he's coached. Two big receivers in Thielen and Diggs on the outside. I started to pick the Vikings. I was this close. Just thought the team was a little too old just to jump on. It was this close. Now, with that being said, this guy Pride, I think that in year one, the Bears will take the division title. Year two, they'll compete for it again. And I'm going to shape it up like this. For us, the most success out of these teams, I'm going to go Bears 1. I'm going to go Rich Champion 2 of the Vikings. And I just think that the Lions' lack of speed at the receiver position is going to cost Pride. I got him finishing last. And then the guy with the Packers and Bino got him finishing third. Now, with that being said, Bino could actually come up and surprise the Vikings and the Bears easily. He has the team to beat them. But I just think that the redemption matter, the Bears and Vikings will be competing at the top of the division while the Lions and Packers are chasing. Okay? That's my thoughts of that one. And now go to the AFC West. AFC West, some surprising teams fell, like the Oakland Raiders, managed by Dirk. Then you had the Chargers getting picked early by Mr. Witness. The Chiefs by the commish, Terradome. And the Broncos, not a big surprise, kind of where you felt they would fall. And that was Cottonmouth with the Broncos. This is a no-brainer. Mr. Witness all day. Mr. Witness has the Chargers. The Chiefs won't be smart enough in year one to beat the Chargers, team-wise. They very young at the receiver spot. They got some weapons. They do have some weapons. They got Hill. They got Watkins. They got Conley. Nice run game. Up and coming Mahomes at the quarterback spot. But they're still young. And I think the Chargers have enough veterans on offense and defense to win. Right now, they don't have a cornerback for Keenan Allen. They won't even be able to stop Mike Williams. So, Terrell don't have to make a trade with the Chiefs in order for this to even be a good matchup. Now, you do have the Broncos, who people don't probably know much about, but I'm pretty sure Mr. Witten's going to wake him up. He'll wake him up real fast with a couple of defensive touchdowns. And when you look at the Raiders don't have a backfield to be scared of right now. They say the run game on here won't be as good, but I think that the Raiders are going to struggle because the Chargers have a team that match up, especially for year 1 and 2, that matches up with any team right now. Their corners match up with all the receivers. They got the receivers to attack most corners, and we're going to see. We're going to see how everything shape up. I like Verrett. Verrett would be the cornerstone. And you got Bosa coming off the end along with Ingram. There's no reason that Mr. Witness should win the division title the first 2 seasons. You hear it? The first 2 seasons. Then you're going to see Terradon start to sneak up and compete in that division. The question is, can the Broncos and Raiders compete? The Raiders got some old pieces, some decisions to make. Marshawn Lynch, Jordy Nelson are old. Another reason, I thought about the Raiders. They got 2 big-time receivers, but I want to start off by having a run game. The run game is supposed to be hard this year on Madden 19, but I do want to have a run game starting out. You know. So, with that being said, look for the Chargers by Mr. Witness to dominate for most of the time. The Chiefs will sneak up and be the second best team. The Broncos got a lot of rebuilding. Just not the team. I mean, 1 season and you're done. Emmanuel and Demaryius Thomas, oh man, they about to decline right away. Casey Keenum didn't get too much love. So unless you depending on Chris Harris, Von Miller, Chubb, you know, Roby playing great defense, you know, getting picks and sacks all day, the Broncos don't even have a chance. All right, that's my take on that division. AFC East, the worst teams of Madden 19. That's how I look at this division. When you look at the Bills, that was selected last, I mean dead last by BGZ. Now, are they the worst team? Not. Their QB got the most throwing power at 99. Then, you look at a few more things. The linebacker that got drafted real high. This man is going to be the man in the middle. Oh my goodness. He's tall, runs side to side, got 86 speed. So we're going to see how good the Buffalo Bills can manage that good defense. And don't forget about the cornerback White, who held it down last year. Man gave him some love. But what this team going to hurt at, after the first season anyway, McCoy. You kind of wish McCoy could be a cornerstone piece. You kind of wish that. But I feel like Watkins leaving them. I mean, they do have Benjamin, but this team needs some work. This is what you call a ball control team. It's the ball control team. And with a rookie quarterback, oh man. Look for the Bills to struggle the first 2 seasons. Okay. Then you also got the Patriots to worry about. And Madden Dad, he has the Patriots. I think the Patriots are going to struggle. I'm going to give this division to the Dolphins. El Gato. I like the Dolphins in this division because the Dolphins, they have Fitzpatrick. They also have Cameron Wake, got Quinn from the Rams. Wide receiver Parker is always overlooked. That guy's one of the deadliest receivers in the game. I used that guy before. And Tannehill will be able to do something. Just a little bit, not much, but enough to win. Just enough to win. And you kind of wonder, because this is like, these guys in this division here are kind of like new guys. So it ain't really much to say about these guys. But the team that really should come out of this division, if they play the cards right, will be D. Jones, the veteran. D. Jones is a nightmare on the ground game. He is a nightmare. He's a ball control guy. He don't need to put up much points. He can play defense. I like this guy. He got Jamal Adams at the safety position. And you know what? Roby Anderson, wide receiver, one of the few wide receivers that are deadly with 94 speed and polished. He's pretty much polished right now. He's pretty much polished. So, with that being said, I'm going with the Jets to win the division. I'm going to go with the Dolphins at number 2. Patriots number 3. And the Bills, they'll fall to number 4. And the reason I say Patriots is number 3, they do have Brady and Gronk. So unless you're throwing jump balls all day, it's going to be hard to score. They're young. They got a lot of good prospects on the O-line. But the firepower at receiver just won't be enough. So unless this guy can coach like Bill Belichick, the Patriots don't have no chance of taking no division titles. Look for the Jets to dominate this division, with the Dolphins knocking on the door and the Bills and Patriots falling way below. I think by year 4, the Bills will be catching up and they'll be able to compete for a division title. Until then, give it all to the Jets. And to be honest, the Jets do have the possibility of winning the entire, I'm going to say it again, the entire, or shall I say the division for the entire time. If we play 8 seasons, they should win it all. 8 times. All right, that's my take on that division. Okay. For us, the AFC South, that has the Colts, who is led by 6-time champion. I'm going to win it. The Colts are not a bad team. They actually made my top 17 teams. He has a quarterback. They drafted Nelson on the O-line. I like the safety talent if you use them that way. Green and Hooker. Not bad at all. And then you got the receiver guy who's an old veteran. He's kind of old. But Hilton is still a go-to guy. Hilton in year 1 and 2 could still be the guy to get someone downfield. And they picked up an important piece that made me think about him. Ebron. They got Ebron, the tight end, out of Detroit. Why did Detroit let him go? Maybe because he was dropping passes at critical times here and there. He made some big catches, but when you make big catches, drop a big catch, you become teams will let you go in a heartbeat. So that's the take on the Colts. Jacksonville with SB compete real good. Young Money has the Texans, and then you got Gus Eastbeast with the Titans. Now, Gus Eastbeast did pick the type of team that fits him. Pretty solid defense, run the ball, got a quarterback that can make timely throws. But the problem with that team is their best weapon on offense in Delanie Walker. In my mind, some people might say Henry, the running back, is the best asset on that team, but I think Delanie Walker is. That's just my opinion. He's old. That's why I never considered the Titans. He's old. Okay. With that being said, you also, on the defensive side of the ball, have a team that is really good. You got the D lineman Casey, not bad at all. I think Casey in this game here, if you got a D line, it's gonna make it even harder for the opposing team to run the ball. Or Dory Jackson on the outside. And I'm pretty sure he looked at that. So I can see why he picked this team. They almost close to the Saints on defense. So at least he picked a team close to them on defense. So you're looking at the Texans. The Texans, to me, man, got one of the best safety tandems coming into the game. You got Hall, and then you got the Honey Badger. That's big. Safety tandem like that. Then you got Watts and Clowney. Oh man, all day. So cover two is just gonna be perfect because their corners are kind of weak on the outside. Then you got Hopkins, Will Fuller on offense. The reason I didn't pick this team, I thought the running backs, right, you know, were not the best running back talent that I had seen. You know, Barkley's pretty good. You do have Lamar Miller and Foreman. Foreman ain't really the back I was looking for, and I think Lamar Miller could be declining sooner than later. So, with that being said, I mean, this is going to be a battle. SJ is already a defensive master. He got Jalen Ramsey. He got a Bouye. You know, offense is real young. He's not an offensive minded type person based on what I've heard about him. So I'm not sure if he could turn the offense around quickly. If he had a maybe pick Atlanta, probably dominate more with them. But this is SJ. He's defensive minded. So some games you might not score 10 points. So look for this division to come down between Colts and Jacksonville. Year one, I'm going to give it to the Jags just because of year one. And it's a new platform. You know, Jacksonville's going to be one of those teams you can press X with. So look for Jacksonville to come out the gates to win this division. Colts number 2. Then the Texans got so much going on, man. Good God. But I'm gonna go with I think that with the lack of corners and speed at linebacker, I'm gonna have to go with the Titans at number 3, and then I let the Texans finish 4th. And that's a lot being said, but just because the playoff experience and the accolades that SJ and I'm gonna win it carry, no, they won't be competing that division in the first 2 seasons. And the Colts could very well win it just because of his expertise. So SJ will have his hands full. So it wouldn't shock me if the Colts won a division, but based on team plus owner concept, I'm gonna go with the Jacksonville. I think he'll edge him out. I really do. But we're gonna see. So that's my take on that division. Okay, one last division is the North. I think the North is going to be a pretty good battle. Steelers with T-Pain, you know, and the guy who picked the Ravens were underrated. You got the Bengals held by, you know, highlight man, Cam Bam. And the Browns by Richie. Richie had the Colts last year. He said he felt disrespected. So, I feel that in this division, I'm going with T-Pain. I think he got enough weapons. Even if Shazier doesn't come back, T-Pain should win this division first season. I got underrated coming in at second. But you do have the Colts. Or Richie, I should say, who has the Browns. 2 young quarterbacks. Richie has the talent to take the number 2 spot. Over underrated. Yeah, we're gonna switch that up. We're gonna go Steelers. I like the Steelers to take the division. I like Richie to finish second, underrated third, and they're just gonna crush. They're gonna crush the Bengals. Cam Bam, no. You'll get a few highlights. You'll get some highlights. Don't worry about that. He's gonna get some highlights. The problem is, though, that division is gonna be too tough. So, with that being said, we're looking at, you know, AJ Green to have some highlights. Ross can have some highlights. But overall, the team just, you know, the owner got to step his game up. He got to step his game up. Till he step his game up and shut people down, you can't be giving up 40 points a game and win anything. This is Madden 19. But if you look at his division, these guys play defense. T-Plane play defense. Underrated play defense. So let's give like, one more overview. Now that we're done. Okay, again. NFC East. We're gonna go Eagles and Giants. And the Cowboys and Redskins, don't look for them to win no division titles. Look for the division titles to come through Eagles and the Giants. Out west, look for the 49ers to win every single division title. NFC South, look for Matty Lowe to control it for most part. I say on an 8-year situation, the Saints will win 6 of those division titles, and the Falcons will win 2. That's how I look at that. Looking at the NFC North, look for the Bears to win 5 division titles. I'm going to say 5. Look for Rich Champion to win 3. Bino might step on y'all, but man, it'll be tough. I don't see no division titles for the Packers or the Lions. But hey, these are unknown guys. The Bears and Vikings, y'all better be ready. Like I said before, you guys are at redemption stage. AFC West, man, 6 division titles for the Chargers out the gates. 2 for the Chiefs. Don't look for the Broncos Raiders to do no damage. They might get a playoff spot, but they're not going to win no division titles. See, look for SJ and titles. He could, but look for 7 division titles to SJ1. 7 division titles to SJ1. Texans and Titans, no division titles. In the North, look for the Steelers to win 5 division titles. Look for Richie to win 2, and the Ravens 1, and the Bengals 9. The Bengals gonna finish last every time. Well, folks, that's my take. And one more thing, like I'll say, why I picked the Giants. You guys was so surprised. The tight end's gonna cause mismatches. Odell Beckham will. Got a young quarterback in Lavelle. The Giants drafted real well. You got Saquon Barkley. If I trade him, you guys better come correct. But as of now, I'm looking at Barkley. When I start practicing, that will determine if Barkley is traded or not. Then you got on the line Nate Soldier, who I might put at center because it's based on his awareness. You got Hernandez, who was drafted in the 2nd round. He'll be my right guard. And when you go to the defensive side of the ball, that D. Tucker Harrison, he's going to plug the middle. Then you got Collins, who I really like at safety. He's a keeper. Jenkins is kind of old, like 29, but he's solid. And we're looking for Eli Apple to be a building block. But one more deciding factor that made me pick the Giants was the right outside linebacker. This dude got 88 speed, and he's 6'5". So you got any more questions why I picked the Giants? Just hit me up in the chat. Peace, fellas.